Welcome to LIFE. This is LIFE not as we all know in general, but rather as the acronym for the Livelihood Improvement through Facilitated Extension. This event on LIFE is the first of a series of celebrations in commemoration of DOST-PCAARRD's 10th anniversary with the theme Harnessing the Gains of Galing PCAARRD towards a more resilient AANR sector. To formally commence our program, let's hear from DOST-PCAARRD Executive Director Reynaldo V. Iborra, Australian Ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Stephen J. Robinson, AO, Professor Andrew Campbell, CEO of Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, and the Department of Science and Technology Secretary Fortunato T. de la Peña.
Good day, everyone. It is our honor and privilege that you have joined us today to commemorate one of our milestones, the 10th anniversary of DOST-PCAARRD. Dubbed as a celebration of life, we would also like to highlight the contribution of DOST-PCAARRD together with the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, or ACIAR, in improving farm communities, especially in conflict-affected areas in the Philippines. LIFE stands for Livelihood Improvement through Facilitated Extension. This model is a result of the ACIAR Mindanao Agricultural Extension Project, which started in 2013 and was implemented by the Landcare Foundation of the Philippines Incorporated, the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Australia, University of the Philippines Mindanao, and the University of the Philippines Los Baños. As an extension model, LIFE focuses on communities experiencing conflict, either sociocultural or political in nature. The LIFE model was tested initially in 3 pilot sites and eventually retested in 3 more sites, namely Ipil in Zamboanga, Sibugay, Coronadal in South Cotabato, and Ampatuan in Maguindanao. These areas were identified based on their agricultural nature and the relevance to various grades of conflict. The results were very encouraging as positive changes in the economic, social, human, and political aspects of farmers' livelihoods were recorded. In 2017, DOST-PCAARRD supported the implementation of a major collaborative project to scale up and further validate the LIFE model through institutional strategic partnerships in Mindanao. This was the first major funding collaboration between ACIAR and DOST-PCAARRD. Today, we recognize this partnership that benefited the lives of our countrymen in conflict-vulnerable areas in Mindanao. As it is aptly titled, we are celebrating life as we commemorate the Council's 10th anniversary today. Let us all sit back and appreciate how the LIFE model evolved and hear the success stories and milestones it has generated. Maraming salamat po at magandang araw sa ating lahat.
G'day everyone. On behalf of the Australian Government, I am delighted to congratulate the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources Research and Development, DOST-PCAARRD, as they celebrate their anniversary today. The Philippines is a key partner for Australia in Southeast Asia, and we cooperate closely on a range of global and regional issues. The Australia-Philippines bilateral relationship encompasses expanding trade and investment links, robust defence and law enforcement cooperation, and a significant development program focused on economic growth, education, social protection, and where necessary, humanitarian assistance. For almost 4 decades, Australia and the Philippines have nurtured a strong bayanihan, or partnership, in international agricultural research that has helped address challenges across key agricultural sectors in the Philippines. This partnership is an integral part of the broader Australia-Philippines bilateral relationship, particularly on development cooperation, which marks its 75th anniversary in 2021. DOST-PCAARRD and DOST, represented here today by our good friends DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña and PCAARRD Executive Director Dr. Reynaldo Iborra, have been among Australia's partners throughout these years, and the relationship only continues to grow. Today, we get another opportunity to celebrate this partnership, in particular through the Life Improvement through Facilitated Extension, LIFE model, implemented by the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, ACIAR, and DOST-PCAARRD, with the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, RMIT in Australia, the University of the Philippines Mindanao, the University of the Philippines Los Baños, and the Landcare Foundation of the Philippines. They've helped transform conflict-vulnerable communities in Mindanao over the last 8 years. This is an outstanding example of Australia's partnership in science and innovation with the Philippines, in supporting economic development and poverty reduction, especially in Mindanao. Australia's aid program has long been working with Philippine organisations and communities to improve livelihoods, earn better incomes, and increase resilience to natural disasters and climate change. And today, in celebration of life, we will see how the Australia-Philippines partnership is helping to bring about positive change. Congratulations once again to all of those who have been part of this collaboration. Thank you very much, and mabuhay.
G'day everyone. On behalf of the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, or ACIAR, I congratulate the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources Research and Development, or DOST-PCAARRD, as they celebrate their anniversary today with the launch of the LIFE webinar series. The strong relationship between Australia and the Philippines in agricultural research is best embodied by the partnership between ACIAR and DOST-PCAARRD. In 1984, the Philippines became one of the first partner countries of Australia to host projects funded by ACIAR. Since then, ACIAR has been investing in and brokering research partnerships with the Philippines to build a more productive, resilient and sustainable agriculture. PCAARRD has been ACIAR's partner throughout these years, and this relationship gets stronger every year. Within ACIAR, we regard our partnership with PCAARRD as an exemplar. We're very proud of our growing partnership as equal partners and increasingly as co-investors across research, capacity building and impact assessment, where we share methodologies. Our open and collaborative relationship allows us to adapt and develop new programs that best respond to challenges in the Philippines' agriculture, fisheries and forestry sectors. Today we celebrate this partnership, in particular through something that's very close to my own heart, the Life Improvement through Facilitated Extension, or LIFE model, implemented by ACIAR and DOST-PCAARRD with RMIT in Melbourne in Australia, the University of the Philippines Mindanao, the University of the Philippines Los Baños and the Landcare Foundation of the Philippines. For decades, ACIAR has had a presence in supporting agricultural extension in the Philippines using a land care-based approach that brings farmers together in neighbourhood groups where they can coordinate what they want to do in managing natural resources. I was involved at the start of land care in Australia as Australia's first national land care facilitator, and I've seen in many places all over Australia but in other countries how bringing groups of farmers together at a neighbourhood scale to focus on shared problems helps to build social capital, share knowledge, make better use of government resources and other things, and helps farmers feel more in control and better able to tackle problems that cross farm boundaries in particular. In the Philippines, there's been an ingenious adaptation of this model to conflict-vulnerable communities. So building social capital to help tackle environmental problems also helps to redress social issues such as in post-conflict vulnerable communities. So ACIAR and PCAARRD working together with our research partners through the LIFE model has definitely changed lives in conflict vulnerable communities in Mindanao. This is a fantastic example of a strong partnership at work. very much like the bigger partnership between Australia and the Philippines through ACIAR and DOST-PCAARRD. I'd like to thank DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Pena and PCAARRD Executive Director and my good friend Dr. Reynaldo Ebora for their continued support and commitment to this excellent partnership. Congratulations once again to everybody who's been involved. Thank you very much, and mabuhay.
As we celebrate the 10th PCAARRD anniversary today, we will all be witnesses to the significant accomplishments and impact of the LIFE or Life Model in this webinar. Through the Life Model, PCAARRD effectively addressed its vision of sustained dynamic leadership in science and technology innovation in the agriculture, aquatic, and natural resources or AANR sector by helping usher in an extension modality that specifically addresses the concerns of conflict-vulnerable areas. The model has worked well in Mindanao, and it is reasonable to expect to also work in other areas in the Philippines with similar situations. But other than the program's achievements, I would like to emphasize and acknowledge the concerted efforts and hard work dedicated by DOST-PCAARRD, ACIAR, Land Care Foundation of the Philippines or LFPI, the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology in Australia, University of the Philippines Mindanao, and University of the Philippines Los Baños in addressing the needs of conflict-vulnerable areas in Mindanao. The collaboration that gave birth to the Life Model would not have been possible if not for the long-standing partnership and mutual respect between the Philippines and Australia, represented here by our friend His Excellency Stephen J. Robinson, AO. As both our governments' instrumentalities, I would also like to recognize the strong partnership between DOST-PCAARRD and ACIAR in conducting agricultural research and development and in promoting R&D results to advance agricultural competitiveness. Evidently, we at the Department of Science and Technology have been very supportive on these initiatives as we continue to actively collaborate and venture on joint projects and programs with ACIAR. We will continue to look forward to ripples of success from our partnership and collaboration. Magandang araw at maraming salamat.
Now we begin today's discussion. Our first set of panelists will be tackling conflict in Mindanao, specifically the displacement and marginalization of the Moro and indigenous people, and how these issues create a number of sub-conflicts in various areas. For the first session, we will be joined by the Secretary of the Duray Farmers and Producers Association of Maguindanao, Mambay Mahin, and the Project Manager of the Consortium of Bangsamoro Civil Society, Mr. Muhammad Noor.
Mindanao conflict. Pag pinag-usapan natin yung Mindanao conflict, ito yung sinasabi natin Bangsamoro struggle for right to self-determination. Nabuo ito dahil dun sa sinasabing imposition ng Filipino monolithic identity laban sa mga Moro at mga indigenous peoples dito sa Mindanao. Yung legitimate grievances na yun ay, kung tingnan mo, binubuo ito siya nung historical injustices na naranasan ng mga Moro. Kasama na yung land disposition, no, sa kanilang mga lupain dito sa Mindanao. So, yung mga pangyayari na naka-trigger dito sa mga kaguluhan nito ay ito yung mga nangyaring violence. Kasi nga may resistance galing sa mga Moro. Patuloy yung violence, patuloy yung impunity, patuloy yung pagpapabaya doon sa mga area ng mga Moro, yung discrimination laban sa kanila, yung prejudices laban sa kanila, yung rampant na human rights violations. And then, yung iba pang mga pangyayari na nagdulot ng iba't ibang negatibong pangyayari sa or epekto doon sa mga Moro. Karamihan sa kanila ay halos wala ng lupain. And then ito na rin yung naging dahilan para magkaroon ng mga communal violence. May mga rido na nangyayari dahil yung natitirang kakarambot ng mga lupain ay nagiging dahilan ng awayan ng mga tao dito sa Mindanao. And then, mas nagpahirap doon sa kabuhayan ng farmers. Dahil nga wala na silang lupain, nagbago yung sistema ng kanilang pamumuhay, nag-shift sila sa ibang kabuhayan na kailangan ng mas malaking adjustment, kailangan ng mas malaking kapital, kaya hindi nila karamihan ay hindi makayanan yung requirements yung adjustment sa pamumuhay na kaya mas lalo nagbigay daan para mas maging mahirap o mas salibot yung kanilang mga pamumuhay. Yung live program ay nakatulong sa ating partner communities para i-upgrade yung kanilang sistema ng pagsasaka o yung kanilang farming system. Sa CBCS naman ay nagbigay daan para magawa yung masama dun sa programa, yung socio-economic program namin. Isa po siyang achievement din sa amin para mas mapalago or ma-incorporate namin sa programa, priority programs ng CBCS yung socio-economic program dahil sa ating programa LIFE. So, sa pagpasok ng ating programang LIFE, mas nadagdagan yung kaalaman ng mga tao. Hindi lang doon sa pagpapanday ng kapayapaan sa kanilang komunidad, kundi doon sa pagpapanday ng kanilang kabuhayan. So, isa itong magandang resulta nung ating programa sa Barangay Sanyag na para mas matulungan pa natin yung ating partner community doon sa area ng Batuan.
Sa wala pa ang UP, ang amon nga kinabuhi budlay. Ang land conflict, sige lang gaaway-away sa mga boundary. Kung magtanom ang IP sang mga tanom, mga saging, hindi pwede kay hindi ila ang lupa. Tapos ginakuan sila sang porsyento sa sarili nila nga lupa. Hindi siya maayo kay wala kami sang produkto nga ma-harvest. Kay wala man kami katanom. Madlok man kami magtanom kay kung magtanom kami, hambalon man kami nga hindi amon ang lupa. So, kinahanglan ang kada isa maglayo kay siyempre mag-away kay ang land conflict ginatawag, ginaagawa nila ang boundary. Sang pagtanom na namon, kalain kay karambula ang pagtanom, hindi siya linya-linya. So damo wala sang tanom, ginapabayaan lang. Hindi pareho sa subong nga pag-abot sang UP, nalagaan na maintain namon. Kung wala ang UP, hindi kami tanom sang mga permanent crop, ay hindi kami kabalo paano mag-contour. Pero sang araang UP, gina-concentrate namon ang tanom, pag sari-sari nga tanom, saging, nyug, prutas, damo nga tanom, kinahanglan amon ang ginatulo sa full project sa amon nga sa community. Sa relasyon namon sa amon nga mga grupo, maayo man. Pareho sa una, hindi kami sina maglagawanay, kaya hindi kami magsapakanay. Kung ano ang obra sang isa, pabayaan lang namon. Pero subong, ginatuluan namon, ginashare namon ang wala pa kasulod sa UP. Ayos ang ginakaon namon sa una. Ginang balinghoy, Palawan, tapos sinang ubi. Mulang naamon ginano. Una-una, panahon sa COVID, medyo mabudlay. Pero kay nag-support ang UP Mindanao, ang mga bugas ginatag sa amon. Dako kayo ang nabulig sang gulay sa amon sa during COVID kay kung kisa wala kami sang bugas, nagabaligya kami dito sa baba, may mga marketing man dito. So pagpuli namon gabakal kami sang bugas kay may mga talong kami dala, kalabasa, green chili, mga pipino, upo, saikwa, basta damo ang mga sari-sari nga tanong ginadala namon dito.
Conflict significantly affects the livelihood of farmers and also causes difficulties in providing government-led services in the affected communities. These challenges demand a different approach to agricultural extension, both at the farmer and extension service provider levels. To present agricultural extension and partnerships in conflict-vulnerable areas, We have Kabasalan Zamboanga Sibugay Municipal Agriculturist, Miladel Capitania, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Chancellor Jose V. Camacho, University of the Philippines, Mindanao, Chancellor Larry Digal, and Deputy Vice Chancellor, College of Design and Social Context, and RMIT Vice President, Tim Marshall.
Life came to the municipality of Kabasalan during the most relevant period when I was just appointed as full-fledged head of office of the municipal agriculture in 2016. Being in the forefront to ensure maximum assistance and access to resources in the production, processing, and marketing of the agri-fishery products for the farmers, fishers, and local entrepreneurs pursuant to Republic Act 7160. The responsibility to facilitate and effectively deliver the 7 banner programs of the Department of Agriculture with only 6 personnel to cover 29 barangays from reach to reef is quite a burden. Having the least budget among the offices could only depend on the coordination and support from other government and non-government agencies like ACIAR, AMAEP, through Land Care Foundation Philippines. We're able to animate indigenous farmers within the conflict vulnerable areas to efficiently manage our watershed, optimizing resources within the environment to improve their livelihood and quality of life.
As the country's national university, the University of the Philippines has a general mandate to cultivate research and academic expertise and harness that expertise to promote national development. As the premier agricultural education and research institutions in the country, UPLB in particular takes on the duty to actively conduct education, research, and extension, as well as public service activities that are meant to serve the country's diverse agricultural communities. Apart from putting focus on increasing productivity and agricultural yield, the university utilizes a holistic approach that takes into account the social and economic circumstances and needs of communities along with environmental and ecological concerns. This approach is particularly important in dealing with the challenges of the climate crisis and the unforeseen calamities such as the ongoing pandemic. UPLB works to find sustainable solutions for climate change, environmental management, the development of affordable and clean energy, and food and nutrition security and safety. The university also endeavors to promote inclusive social policies. In Mindanao, the political and social conflict is a context of policies and programs that must be put in place to boost its socioeconomic development. If research and extension work is to be effective and useful, taking conflict into account is inevitable. Those in the best position to understand such conflict and how it impacts lives and livelihood are the people, the institutions, and communities of the region itself. UPLB therefore is committed to work with the people of Mindanao in carrying out the university's mandate of enabling national development through agriculture. It is in this light that UPLB has established one of its major projects in the region, the UP Professional School for Agriculture and the Environment in Panabo City, Davao del Norte. UP PCAAARRD aims to train current and future Mindanao-based innovators and leaders in agriculture and the environment. Faculty members from the UPLB's Institute of Weed Science, Entomology, and Plant Pathology at the College of Agriculture and Food Science are training master's students in entomology, while professors from the UPLB School of Environmental Science and Management mentor master's and doctoral students in environmental science. It is our hope that these students will form the core of a network of experts and leaders that work closely with agricultural communities, local governments, the industry, the civil society organizations, and development workers in the Mindanao. Based in the region, they will have first-hand knowledge and experience to assess the needs of communities and stakeholders and respond to them. This is, of course, only the beginning. We intend to expand the offering of UP-PCAAARRD in the near future and extend our collaborations with Mindanao-based state universities and colleges, industry partners, the communities, and local government. By working with a diverse group of actors that intimately know the region, UPLB hopes to future-proof and better serve conflict-vulnerable communities and promote inclusive socio-economic development in the nation's second-largest island, the country's food basket, the land of promise, Mindanao. Thank you. Stay safe. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Ladies and gentlemen, maayong buntag sa inyong tanan. Republic Act number 7889, the national legislation that created UP Mindanao, mandates our campus to offer a program on agriculture education in view to develop Mindanao's agricultural sector and reinforce its position as a country's food basket. In response to such mandate, our School of Management has offered a BS Agribusiness Economics program, which is one of its kind in the country. I am proud to say that UP Mindanao is also one of the few universities worldwide to have such a degree program. UP Mindanao's work to provide agricultural research, development, and extension in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM, is further reinforced through the PCAARRD UP Mindanao Land Care Life or POOL program. Through funding from PCAARRD, UP Mindanao was able to implement a project on enhancing livelihood opportunities in conflict-vulnerable areas in Mindanao through livelihood improvement through facilitated extension, or the LIFE program in the municipalities of Datu Abdullah Sangki and Amputuan in Maguindanao. The program has enabled us to partner with 2 indigenous peoples communities and with key local government units, agencies, and a non-government organization in the region. In addition, our Philippine Genome Center Mindanao has facilitated the creation of a Mindanao-wide genomics consortium involving several actors from the BARM region, such as the MSU Tawi-Tawi campus, and as part of our efforts to bolster innovations in research, including on Mindanao's food system. In general, there are still many opportunities to intensify initiatives with various stakeholders in both public and private sectors to enhance and sustain extension programs in the BARM area and other conflict-vulnerable areas in Mindanao. Through our RDE work, we hope to contribute to the attainment of lasting peace and inclusive and sustainable development for all Mindanaoans. We in UP Mindanao look forward to sustaining our partnership with PCAARRD and other collaborators to improve and expand our extension programs in BARM and other underserved areas here in Mindanao. Thank you, and kudos to PCAARRD for organizing this online forum.
Hello, I'm Tim Marshall, Deputy Vice Chancellor, College of Design and Social Context, and Vice President at RMIT University. RMIT has a long and proud history of bringing new knowledge to improve the lives of working people. Indeed, our original charter included a commitment to transform society through a skilled hand and a cultivated mind. RMIT also has a specific long-standing commitment to improve people's lives across the Asia-Pacific region. We have campuses in Vietnam, nearly 6,000 RMIT students at the Singapore Institute of Management, and close to 3,000 students studying at RMIT partner institutions in Singapore, mainland China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. The Australian APEN Study Centre is hosted by RMIT, and the appointment of the Honourable Dr. Craig Emerson as Director has brought substantial experience and networks within the Asia Pacific. Dr. Emerson previously served in the federal government as the Minister for Trade, the Minister assisting the Prime Minister on Asian-centric policy, and the Minister for Tertiary Education. RMIT has recently been ranked third in the world in the 2021 Times Higher Education Sustainable Development Goals Impact Ratings, a clear sign of our commitment and achievements in progressing sustainable development initiatives. We seek to help shape the world with research, innovation, teaching, and engagement, the same principles that have underpinned the adoption and expansion of the LIFE model. I'm delighted to see that LIFE is recognized by the DOST-PCAARRD as an innovative agricultural extension model specifically developed for conflict-vulnerable areas. RMIT has recently signed a further agreement with the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research to lead a research project involving Fiji, the Philippines, and Australia. This 4-year, $2.9 million research project will test whether a land care approach using the LIFE model can be adapted from one country context to another. I look forward to our continued partnership with the Philippines, a partnership that produces positive impacts across the Asia Pacific. And finally, I congratulate PCAARRD on its 10th anniversary achievement. Thank you very much.
ACIAR and its partner institutions have been conducting research on agricultural extension for many years now. Results prove that these particular types of community-based agricultural extension can rapidly improve the livelihood of farmers. For our third session, the LIFE model, its implementation in the vulnerable communities in Mindanao, and how it transforms conflicts to life, will be discussed. Joining the discussion are Project Leader of ACIAR Mindanao Agricultural Research Project and Research Fellow at RMIT University, Dr. Mary Johnson. Senior Lecturer at UP Mindanao, Ms. Anne Shangri-La Y. Fuentes. Landcare Foundation Philippines Incorporated Representatives Nikki Cordero, Mary J. Titan, and Muqtadir Sanki. And DOST-PCAARRD Deputy Executive Director for Administration, Resource Management and Support Services, Dr. Melvin B. Carlos.
From 1999 to 2011, the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, ACIAR, conducted projects focused on agricultural extension approaches in Mindanao and the Visayas. This research used a land care-based approach to encourage farmer communities to collectively plan and coordinate action for managing natural resources, as well as improving their livelihoods. During 2007 to 2009, a small pilot project was conducted in the remote, conflict-affected community of Malabong, Sultan Kudarat in central Mindanao. This project focused on livelihood improvement activities for farmers and strengthened ties with the local people's organisations and other community development institutions. The Malabong pilot produced excellent results and demonstrated that community-based extension methods can achieve positive results for isolated, conflict-vulnerable communities. Subsequently, in late 2013, a new ACIAR project commenced that would build on the findings from the Landcare projects and Malabong pilot. Through action research, this project has tested and refined a new agricultural extension model for conflict-vulnerable areas of Mindanao, the LIFE model.
The LIFE model is based on 3 core strategies which emerge clearly from previous projects. First is providing farmers access to technical innovations. Farmers and their facilitators identify relevant training that can be tapped. These can include farmer-to-farmer field schools, local training programs, and cross-visits to other farms for inspiration. Second is building community social capital. At its heart, the LIFE model is community-based and builds on existing social capital. Expanded networks, increased trust and cooperation, and recognizing the vital role of women all contribute to more productive and harmonious communities. Third is collaborating closely with local institutional partners to build effective and sustainable partnerships. Linking farmers with local service providers such as LGUs, national agencies, education providers, and other institutions strengthens relationships that can sustain into the future. This creates a safer and more secure environment in which to work and build opportunities for all. The three strategies are considered to be equally important and are planned and delivered concurrently at all times.
Hi, I am Nicky Cordero and I have been a community project facilitator for almost 5 years serving marginalized farmers. I learned that the importance of being a community facilitator is we serve as a bridge to connect marginalized people and government agencies or institutions in order to provide their needs and support the farmers. Facilitator serves also as a catalyst or an agent of a change and not a leader of change. As a facilitator, we should think that we bring not only a single approach, but a holistic approach on how we can help marginalized farmers improve their farming livelihood as well as their way of living. By connecting farmers through understanding their biases, traditions, culture, issues and concerns, and by following the steps of the LIFE project, I can say that there will be a good, successful, and remarkable change that the farmer will be remembered and thanked for. And they were able to say that they were never left behind.
Implementing the LIFE model is both personally and professionally rewarding to me. First, it has provided me the opportunity to work with marginalized communities in different sectors and ethnicities. Seeing our partner associations improve their livelihood and quality of life is such a gain. Community relationships is priceless, especially that I have observed and witnessed how difficult their lives and livelihood before we introduce AMAEP Life project. Secondly, I consider the AMAEP as venue to enrich my knowledge and skills in community engagement and technical know-how in delivering extension services. The same experience that I was able to use in my academic advancement.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. My name is Muqtadir Tisanki, a project coordinator of Landcare Foundation of the Philippines, engaging the AMAEP Life project. Building trust is an important component of the LIFE model, especially that we developed and implemented it in conflict vulnerable areas. For trust to happen, there has to be emphasis on communication, participation, collaboration, providing feedback and consultation with partners, farmers, and agencies. There is also respect for the diverse cultures and belief with the people we engage with who are among the tribe people of Mindanao, Muslims, Christians, and Lumad. With the LIFE model, we saw that their livelihood and their relationship improved because of the cooperation and trust they develop over time. With this improvement, we also see the LIFE model as being able to contribute to building peace in Mindanao, and we hope that other agencies will also adopt the LIFE model, their programs, for us to see positive change and development in our areas.
The DOST-PCAARRD recognizes LIFE as the agricultural extension modality most applicable and effective for conflict-vulnerable areas in the Philippines. Over a period of 8 years, LIFE project sites have achieved rapid and significant improvement in the livelihoods of 241 farming households in 12 conflict-vulnerable communities across predominantly Muslim regions in Mindanao, including Maguindanao, Zamboanga Sibugay, and South Cotabato. The LIFE model is based on principles vital for establishing strong foundations for effective extension programs in general and conflict-vulnerable situations in particular. LIFE uses farmer-centered training systems, working with farmers in group-based learning, very close coordination with local stakeholder groups, and close collaboration with all institutional project partners. Patterned after the LIFE model, the University of the Philippines, Mindanao, started its PCAARRD, UP Mindanao, Land Care, LIFE, or POOL program. After 2 years of implementation, the program also saw similar significant changes in farmers' livelihoods. Given the success of the LIFE model in the original AMAEP sites and the more recently established POOL sites, we're very hopeful that it will also work well in the Moro Islamic Liberation Front communities and in the UP Mindanao's land reservation in Lac, Davao de Oro, where land disputed issues exist, along with the presence of the New People's Army. With this in mind, DOST-PCAARRD is considering further support of the LIFE pool extension modality for expansion and replication in other conflict-stricken areas in Mindanao.
As the first era of LIFE model approaches its end, it seeks to leave a legacy of a better experience among its stakeholders. Over the last 8 years, LIFE team has eagerly developed and improved the planning, implementing, and testing of this model. Here is Mr. Noel Vach to present the LIFE package.
Good morning. Pagpu Pugay Galing sa Australia. Greetings from Australia. Over the last 8 years, more than 50 people have been involved in implementing and testing the LIFE model, and those people have worked with up to 2,000 farming families across the 26 pilot sites. In that process, the LIFE community have gathered a wealth of data and experience. As the primary projects now come to a close, we would like to leave a legacy of that experience for potential adopters of the LIFE model. So we have produced what we call the LIFE package. The package consists of 3 components: an introductory book, an online video library, and a training manual. The first component is the book, entitled The Facts of Life. This is a 150-page full-colour introduction to the LIFE model. Over 6 main chapters, we summarise the conflict situation in Mindanao, the impacts of conflict, considerations for designing effective extension programs for conflict-vulnerable areas, how the new model was developed, how it works, and the outcomes and impacts it has achieved. Woven through the chapters are 22 testimonials, or life stories as we call them, of people's experience with the model. These include farmers, community facilitators, LGU personnel, researchers and academics. Each life story is linked via a QR code to an online video library where each testimonial can be viewed in a more visual manner via a smartphone or tablet. The second component of the LIFE package is the online video library titled Visions of Life. It can be accessed directly at www.lifevideos.org. It contains a 10-minute overview video of life, the 22 life stories I mentioned earlier, plus additional video material which will be added from time to time. The third component of the LIFE package is a training manual titled Training for Life. This brings together the detail of all the actual tools used in implementing the model. For example, how to plan and conduct a farmer needs analysis workshop, and how to get the best out of an inspirational farmer cross visit. If you have been inspired by the book and online video library, this will provide you with the detailed how-to on rolling out the model. Thank you for listening, and we invite everyone to share in our life-changing LIFE package. Thank you, Maraming Salamat, Wassalam.
its 26 pilot sites, the LIFE model has seen a significant improvement in both farmer livelihoods and in the delivery of extension programs in these geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. Now, to give us some snippets on how the LIFE model has improved their day-to-day lives, we have J.D. Kadag, President of Ngabango Blaan Aksasato Farmers; Aurora Rosal, Secretary of Assumption Farmers Association; Helen Anaud, Senior Agriculturist and Life Focal Person in CAO Coronadal, South Cotabato; Mr. Henry Binahon, President and Executive Director of LFPI; and Dr. Emma Ruth Bayogan, Director of Karim UP Mindanao and Program Leader of PUL UP Mindanao.
Ang experience namon sa life, sa nagasugod kami sa paghimo og training sa gulay, may module kami, dayon nagahimo kami sa nursery, and then pag humanamon sa nursery, naga-training po kami sa straightening para mapapag-unamon ang grupo. Dako ang bulig sa amon sang life project tungod kay damo na kami hibalaan sa among pagsugod sa among training. Nakakuha kami og mga bulig halin sa government. Tapos may ara kami gihisugdan karon nga tindahan or co-op nga tindahan. Dako kayo ang bulig sa amon sang life tungod kay sini nagapadayon ang among pagbuliganay. Sadto dili kami makaatubang sang mga tawo tungod kay mahuya kami, pero karon naga-level up na ang among association tungod sa life. Ang among pagsalig o pagbinuligay naga-improve ang among grupo. Ug tungod gyapon sa life, nagapadayon kami sa paghimo og among ging maintain kung unsa ang ginatudlo sa amon, among gid katong ging butang sa amon nga tagipusoon para mapa-improve kung unsa ang dapat namong i-improve sa amon nga organization. Sa pagkakaroon, sir, una nakabaton kami o mga bulig halin sang government. May ara kami livelihood nga funding, may ara kami gibuligan pod kami og cash nga para idugang sa among tindahan. Kag sa pagkakaroon, ging award sa amon ang OTP sa Barangay Sarabia. Wala pa namon nakuha ang iyang cash assistant, pero naka-award na yun sa INVAP kag kami na ang nagamanage karon. Ang pinaka dili gid ako nakalimtan nga natun-an ako sa life project pag-straighten sa amon nga ginapapag-on gid kami upod sang life. Wala gid kami kalipatan nga katuan sa amon nga grupo. Always kami nga ginasuportahan sang life facilitator. Ang among ginahandom karon nga magpadayon ang grupo dili nga pag-on. Ang akong handom sa life project nga magapadayon kini ug damo pa sila nga mga katawhan nga mabuligan, dili lang diri sa Coronadal sa South Cotabato kundi maabot pa ni sa lain pa nga mga lugar para sama sa amon makakuha man sila og mga knowledge kung unsa ang dapat himuon para sa sini nga programa, kag makabalo sila maghimo kung unsa ang dapat himuon para sa organic farming.
My experience sa life project during trainings, naangay na siya module nga dapat i-follow. So naami 13 modules na di-present sa AMUA, nga mo ito among sundon. So dito naka-learn ko sang how to prepare mga concoctions, tapos on how to prepare nursery, then nag-training kami sa agroforestry. Ang learnings is from the actual, nga dili lang sa theories namon nga na balaan, kundi actual gid namo nga gi-implement ang ang natun-an. Dapat ay siya gikabulig sa among self-confidence because may nanakay ipang hambog sa katawhan sa mga visitors. Pwede na kami makashare sa among co-farmers food. Ang life project, dako kay siya kabulig sa among association kay mas dali kaming nakilala as association because we were registered with the DOST. So may access kami, then continuous gihapon ang support, technical support sa gihatag sa LGU sa AMUA. We were given the opportunity nga kami mismo ang maghimo og nursery for the agroforestry. Then gipalit sa city. Ang handom ko sa among association, sa among mga members, nga sila na mismo ang mag-supply sa AMUA sa vegetables. So ang market niya, kung kaluyan siya nga, kami na ang magkuha sa ilang produkto.
We piloted into 2 barangays, one in Barangay Sarabia, in Bango, and the other one is in Barangay Assumption at Sitio Oloclofe, with the 2 barangays wherein we piloted before. The office decided to adopt the model because of the positive acceptance and the promising results of the project. The group, which includes land care, the city agriculture office, and other key departments in the LGU, decided to make or adopt a resolution and make it official as part of an adopted life model for the city. The model was already a resolution adopted by the city of Coronadal with a budget of 200,000 in the beginning. And agriculture was given the attention that it needed for so long. And the budget for life included was raised to 700,000 and beyond. So our office has been into 5 barangays. So the life model is a big help to the LGU, especially in the implementation of its projects and programs. Since there are organized organizations, we immediately partnered with the organizations that are present in the barangay. And because of that, there is an easy access to the implementation of the projects. The farmers became aware of their opportunities and were able to uplift their livelihood. They were able to adopt income-generating projects that were introduced to them. Through life, we were able to easily manage our distribution of our resources. Since we approach the organization and then the organization takes care of themselves. Since the organization is a duly registered organization from the DOLE or the Department of Labor and Employment, the farmers have the capacity to connect with other agencies.
Hi, I'm Mr. Henry Binahon. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Land Care Foundation of the Philippines, innovating life adoption for local government units, academia, and the national government agencies. This is in partnership with the Land Care Foundation of the Philippines and the Agricultural Training Institute. So LAPI has 6 months mentoring program for agricultural extensionists on the use of life, the livelihood improvement through facilitated extension. The 6 months mentoring program are divided into 3 modules. Module 1 consists of orientation and cross visits. The main topics and activities include sharing of experiences in doing agricultural extension, overview of the life model as an extension approach, encountered with the LGU life adapters and the farmer groups, existing life programs, forms of policy support, experiences gained and insights of LGU life facilitators, technology adoptions, partnership between LGU and farmer groups, initial inputs of life steps, site selection, group selection, engaging farmer groups, community planning workshop, baselining and institutional mapping, and planning per institution. The Module 1, the participants is to implement the identified activities, example, site selection and group selection, profiling, and conduct of planning workshop. Module 2 consists of 2 days activity. This is an implementation of agricultural livelihood program. The main topics and activities are sharing of experiences on the use of life approach per institution, brief review of the life approach, process documentation, formulating activities and training proposal, facilitating activities and handling meetings, organizing inspirational cross-visit activities, selecting deploying farmer facilitator, phasing out workshop, project and participatory evaluation, and planning per institution. The Module 2, participants are to implement the identified activities while the LTI is on to conduct field monitoring. The Module 3 consists of 1.5 days. This is the culmination activity. The main topic and sub-activities includes sharing of experiences and milestone on the use of life approach per institution, finalizing IEC presentation materials, sustainability planning, dry run in communicating results to head of office and respective policymakers, nomination programs, showcasing results, and commitment building. The pioneering batch of these programs have 22 participants. Participating agencies are 1 provincial local government unit, particularly the Misamis Oriental, have 3 participants, and 4 cities and municipal local government units, namely 2 from Cabanatuan Bukidnon, 4 from City Government Unit of Cagayan de Oro, 2 from Tibuli, Municipality of Tibuli South Cotabato, and 4 from the Municipality of Misamis Oriental. We have also 7 participants coming from the University of Science and Technology in Southern Philippines and 2 representatives from the National Government Agency, particular the Philippine Coconut Authority in Region 10. So after the 6 months mentoring activities, there are a lot of positive testimonies of our participants that will be later shared to this session. So thank you and good day.
Good morning. UP Mindanao received PCAARRD funding in 2017 for a 3-year program to use the LIFE or Livelihood Improvement through facilitated extension model in enhancing livelihood opportunities of conflict vulnerable groups in Mindanao. We found that it helped diversify livelihoods and improved farmers' income by 31 to 89%. Social capital was improved through partnerships. Farmers learned new knowledge and skills. We also assisted a Tiluray woman pass on her basket weaving skills to others so that tradition can continue. We also added a functional literacy and numeracy program that enabled some elderly indigenous people to write, read, and count. During this pandemic, we saw how farmers helped each other be food secure through their gardens. With these gains, UP Mindanao, through its Land Reservation Management Office and Office of Extension and Community Services, has started institutionalizing LIFE model in its extension and public service work. Initial steps towards this direction include partnership with the Compostela Valley State College in using the LIFE model in UP Mindanao's land reservation in Laak, Davao de Oro. We are also exploring its implementation in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao through the UP Pahinungod program. We plan to implement it in other areas of Mindanao. So, thank you very much, PCAARRD DOST, for the support and happy anniversary.
That concludes today's discussion. We hope that you have learned about the LIFE program from our panelists and guests. Now, to officially close the program, we have ACIAR Philippines Country Manager Ms. Mai Alagan to give us a closing message.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this momentous occasion. Today, we had the pleasure of hearing and learning from our partners how working together can transform lives that respond to the unique needs, resources, and capacities of the communities. This is even more essential for communities that are vulnerable to conflict. The genesis of the ACIAR Mindanao Agriculture Extension Project was a call from a leader in a conflict-affected area in Mindanao who was looking for ways to help his community. From that phone call, our research partners jumped into action to design an agriculture extension approach, which now we know as the Livelihood Improvement through Facilitated Extension module that could help smallholder farmers living amidst conflict. Social cohesion and the drive to harness and strengthen it is at the core of the LIFE model. It puts a spotlight on how the communities gel together, the social links and networks within, listening to people, but also being mindful of what is not being said, and understanding how these connections can catalyze positive change. This project has also been expanded to many areas in Mindanao through the support of the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources Research and Development, PCAARRD. The LIFE model is also a story about partnerships between the Philippines and Australia, and the collaboration between and among researchers, learning together and from each other, extension and life facilitators working side by side with local leaders to deliver services to the barangays, and the generosity and trust of our communities that has brought life to our partnership. Today, we also celebrate another milestone. Building on the success of the project, we are now ready to bring the LIFE model to the Pacific region. With the support of ACIAR, PCAARRD, and partners, we hope to share what we have learned in the AMAEP project and adapt this to the context of our Pacific neighbors that face similar challenges, but also share the same desire of creating positive change through social cohesion, environment conservation, and livelihood development. I would like to express my great appreciation to everyone who has been involved and collaborated with ACIAR and PCAARRD on the AMAEP and LIFE model. My special thanks to Australia's Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology, the University of the Philippines Mindanao and Los Baños, the Landcare Foundation of the Philippines, our local government partners, and the communities in Mindanao that have been with us on this journey and truly demonstrated that conflict to life is indeed possible. Again, congratulations to everyone. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being with us, and we are also inviting you to the following PCAARRD activities for the rest of the year. Once again, this has been the Livelihood Improvement through Facilitated Extension Forum 2021.